Okay, good morning, class. Today we're going to discuss the material self from Chapter 2, Lesson 8 of Understanding the Self. So before we proceed to the main content of material self, let us first know its definition. So when you say material self class, this talks about the tangible objects, people, and places that carry the designation my or mine. So ibig sabihin, it is anything that can be observed by your naked eyes, whether it is an object, a person, o kaya a place. So it may be categorized into two, and these are the bodily self and extracorporeal self. So the next slide will show you the difference between the bodily self and the extracorporeal self. Okay, so when you say bodily self, these are the objects or these are the parts that are attached to your body. Kaya nga siya tinawag na bodily self. Kasi, let's say, pinicturean mo ako and then you saw my eyes, then those eyes belong to me. Kaya nga, tinawag natin kanina doon sa previous slide na my or mine. Kasi, kahit saan mo ilagay yung picture ng mata ko or kahit saan mo makita yung mata ko na yon, you can easily say that that is my my eyes or a part of my body. Pero when you say naman it's extracorporeal self, it is not necessarily attached to your body, but it is considered as an extended self. Meaning, it is detached, it is an object, it is a place, it may also be another person, but is identifiable to you. So let's say yung parents mo, yung grandparents mo, yung school na pinag-aaralan mo, also your bags, your cell phones, and then your laptops. So kapag naiwan mo yung mga bagay na yan, o kaya kapag umalis ka dun sa bahay na yan at nakita ng ibang kakilala mo, then they can easily say that those things, those places, and those people are associated and related to you. So yun yung tinatawag natin na material self. Okay. So we regard our possessions as always part of ourselves and also part of our development. So we're going to see the different stages that are relevant to the identification of the value of these possessions. So first is, let's discuss the role and the function of possessions. It doesn't only talk about its value or its economic commodity or it being bought anywhere or being sold in any stores. So it's also an instrument or a vehicle in understanding the reality. So sabi nga natin, it's not just an object that you have na kapag meron kang TV, it doesn't only stop from that definition that this is mine, 'di ba? It also it is also a reflection of any of the following factors. So let's say influence, 'di ba? And power. So the more money you have, then the more influential and the more powerful you are in this country or maybe in any parts of the world. At alam natin 'yan, 'di ba? And also for sympathy, during our previous discussion, na nagkaroon ako ng scenario na ibinigay sa inyo wherein merong dalawang estudyante na naaksidente. I don't know if you still remember it. Ang sabi ko, yung isang naaksidente is alam mo namang mayaman and then yung isa ay walang-wala. Sino yung bibigyan mo ng abuloy at magkano? So, most of you answered na ang bibigyan ko po ng abuloy na mas malaki yung mahirap kasi po kulang sila sa pera, 'di ba? Yet doon sa mayaman na estudyante na naaksidente, I will no longer put any effort na dagdagan pa yung usual na contribution ko para sa naaksidente. So, that is also a symbol of your sympathy, 'di ba? It is also dependent on the social status of the victim or also of the person na kilala ninyo. Also, another symbol of social status is kapag halimbawa, sinabi natin kanina, meron akong TV. So, if you are going to ask me another question, anong klaseng TV? So, kapag sinabi ko na yung TV namin black and white, medyo sira-sira, tinitape na lang yung remote, then you may say na, mahirap lang siguro si na ma'am, di ba? Pero, kung ang sagot ko sa inyo ay ang TV namin ay 65 inches, di ba? Mayaman sila, di ba? So, that's a symbol of social status. Another is bahay. So, kapag sinabi ko na ako ay nakatira sa barong-barong, then you may identify me as poor. Pero kapag sinabi ko na ako ay nakatira sa isang exclusive subdivision, then you may easily identify me as rich. Diba? So, yun yung tinatawag natin na iba't ibang roles ng possessions. And last is emotion. Diba? It depends on your emotion. Minsan, pag galit ka, ayaw mong gumastos. Or minsan, pag galit ka, doon ka kumakain at bumibili ng maraming-marami, di ba? Kasi feeling mo naghihiganti ka sa buong mundo, di ba? Pero meron din naman in other situations, kapag masaya sila, doon sila kumakain ng marami or bumibili ng madami. Kasi it's how they express their happiness and joy, di ba? So, let's say meron kang victory na isine-celebrate. Let's say, nakapasa ka sa lahat ng subjects mo ngayong final exams. Well, wish ko lang. So, syempre, there is a possibility na bumili ka ng gusto mong gamit coming from your parent, considering it as a reward. So, that may also be a good example under emotion. So, ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo. Ano-ano nga ba yung role ng possessions across the different stages of development? So, syempre, it's not just a simple object na na-observe natin by our naked eyes. Kasi as defined in the previous slide, there is really the role and the function of the possession. And also, merong iba't ibang klase ng value na ibinibigay tayo sa mga possessions na to during the different stages of development. So, during childhood, ang role ng possession is as your comfort object or security blanket. You are owning a certain object because that object is very important to you in a sense na psychologically, it gives you the sense of security na kailangan mo as a child. Meaning, kapag nandyan yung object na yan, mas madali kang nakakatulog, mas madali kang pagpahinga, nare-relax ka. Kaya nga siya tinawag na comfort object or security blanket. So for my number one question, when you were still a child, ano nga ba yung object that you considered as a comfort object or security blanket? Meaning, something na you possessed when you were still a baby, yet it is considered to be very important to you kasi kung wala yun, baka hindi ka makatulog or baka hindi ka aalis ng bahay ninyo. Next is the endowment effect. Ano naman tong endowment effect na to? So, we value the item daw much more highly just as soon as we own them. So, if that item remains in the store and then you're still not buying it, and is still that object doesn't belong to you, then it doesn't play any importance to your life. And how is it? Let's say merong kwintas na hindi naman pawnable, hindi naman importante actually, meaning walang value talaga. Maybe you may just bought it from somewhere, sabihin na natin na nabili lang sa Muslim. However, the person who gave it to you is your favorite lolo. 'Di ba? So, kakasabi ko lang, wala siyang value, hindi mo naman masasanla, pero ibinigay ng pinaka-importanteng tao sa buhay mo. So, that's the endowment effect. Kahit sabihin ko sa'yo na yung kwintas na yan, bibiling ko ng 1,000,000 sa'yo, you will never sell it to me. Kasi, it's not just the price that matters, but it's already the memories na meron doon sa kwintas na yon. And also, the role of the person who gave it to you. So, yun yung concept ng endowment effect. So, when you were still a child, okay, ano nga daw ba yung isang bagay na ibinigay or ano nga daw ba yung isang bagay na ibinigay sa'yo ng kahit sinong special sa'yo that you consider to be priceless? So, that's my second question. So you explain to me why is it important and what is that thing? So during adolescence naman, the role of possession is it acts as the symbol of your self-worth and also your accomplishment. So kung halimbawa, hindi ba, nakagraduate ka and then you became the first honors in your batch, and then ano nga daw ba yung pwedeng maging role ng possession on or material things? You may be rewarded, di ba, by your parents. So pwedeng bibilhan ka nila ng jewelry, bibigyan ka nila ng cellphone because you achieved something. 'Di ba? Or even the medal itself, 'di ba? Pag nakuha mo yung medal na yon, ibig sabihin nanalo ka, 'di ba? Ibig sabihin may nakuha kang achievement. And of course, without that medal or piece of reward na yon, hindi mo mararamdaman yung sense of accomplishment mo or self-worth na tinatawag natin. So, when we say naman hoarding disorder, it's the difficulty discarding or parting with possessions because uh they are perceived as something that you will be needing in the future. So, kung papasok ka sa bahay ng may bahay, tapos makikita mo na yung mga lumang sapatos, yung mga sira-sira ng rice cooker, yung mga dismantled na mga bagay-bagay, yet nakastack pa rin at nakalagay pa rin doon sa isang cabinet or doon sa isang kwarto at hindi dinidispose at pwede ng pamahayan ng mga ahas, then that signifies that you have a hoarding disorder. It is difficult for you to throw things na hindi mo naman na magagamit, yet these things are just consuming space inside your house. So, sabi nga natin, when you have a hoarding disorder, you tend to focus on what is not alive. Meaning, you tend to focus on the things that you can no longer get anything from it. You're just holding on to keeping it. Diba? Yun lang yung gusto mo. Okay, now when you reach adulthood naman, ano naman daw yung nagiging symbol daw or nagiging role ng possessions. So, it's the sense of selfhood and identity. So, syempre, during this year, you are already working. So, without you being able to invest anything, kahit na maliit na motor, maliit na kotse, bahay, 'di ba? Without those things, then you may not say na you are you are becoming successful with the field of work that you have chosen or with the career that you have. Kasi, yun yung primary role ng material things. Sabi nga nila, kapag halimbawa daw, pumupunta ka sa isang mall and then you are no longer counting the money that you have, then that means you are earning much. Pero, if you are very strict daw when it comes to budgeting at lahat daw ay denumero pa sa'yo, then still you are not possessing enough for yourself. So, yun yung sa adulthood naman. So, number 3 question is, when you reach adulthood, ano yung pinaka-symbol ng success para sa'yo? Okay, so in understanding the self, they can be examined through its different components. So the first one is the constituents. The second one is the feelings and emotions, or the self-feelings. And the last one is the self-seeking and the self-preservation. So under pa din to kay William James. So ayan, pag sa exam, you just have to answer constituents, self-feeling, self-seeking, and self-preservation. Yun lang. Eliminated na yung ibang definitions dito sa components na to. So, going back to the previous slide kanina, I mentioned na meron siyang dalawang categories. So, ano yung dalawang categories na yon? You have the bodily and the extracorporeal self. Pero when we are talking about the component, then we're talking about the constituents. the self-feeling, and self-seeking, and self-preservation. So, constituents, yan yung apat. So, we have the material, social, spiritual self, and the pure ego. So, when you say material self, it's very easy. It talks about your body, the clothes, immediate family, and the home. Yung kaninang i-define natin na under ng bodily and extracorporeal self. These are the objects, people, and places that are identifiable as yours. So, syempre, as for the body, it's the innermost part of the material self. So, yun lang yung pinapatandaan ko palagi. And as part of your obligation sa body nyo, you have to make sure that your body is functioning well and good. Next is clothes. So, kung kanina for body, it's the innermost part, ang tatandaan nyo naman dito under ng clothes ay, it is considered as the essential part of the material self. So why is it essential? Because it also contours your personality, 'di ba? Kung ano yung pananamit mo, it also defines you, 'di ba? So kung halimbawa 'di ba, ang isang tao na humaharap sa inyo ay pa-t-shirt lang o kaya let's say ang instructor mo nagtuturo sa iyo nakasando, hindi ba? It's very hard for you to give that person the kind of respect na deserve niya, even though instructor siya. Pero when you know that the instructor is really dressed well, then there is a certain respect or limit that is already established. 'Di ba? Pag nakita mo pa lang siya, hindi basta-basta tong tao na to. Kasi pananamit pa lang niya talaga, nakuha na niya yung loob at yung respeto mo. So, kaya nga, di ba, during our previous discussion, I always say na you are what you wear. And you also, it's not just about the expression of yourself, but you have to remember that you have to wear according to the right occasion. And also, you have to wear accordingly and properly. Next is clothes. Ayan. So, yun na nga. It's not just merely a form of self-expression. Pakatandaan nyo yan. But it always reflects your personality and the kind of being. Or maybe the kind of attitude and behavior that you have. So, for immediate family, so kung kanina, it's essential. And it's a part of your self-expression. Now, for immediate family, they are important part of yourself. They may not be part of your bodily self, but they define so much about you because aside from you are what you wear, you are also a reflection of your family. So kung ano yung belief, kung ano yung values na meron ka ngayon, they only came from your family and you learn that from your family. Kung ano yung behavior mo towards other people, then that is only a result of you learning it from your own home. Next is home. So it's the earliest nest of your selfhood, meaning it's the symbol of, it's the symbol of your identity because, di ba, sabi nga natin, kung gusto mong makilala yung isang pamilya, you have to try entering their house. And then sabi nung iba kong estudyante, ma'am, kung gusto mo daw malaman kung malinis yung isang pamilya, you have to enter their restroom. Tingnan mo daw yung CR o kaya tingnan mo daw yung kitchen nila. So, if those parts of the house are clean, then you may say na very tidy and clean itong pamilya na to. So, sabi ko nga, considering the definition kanina and the way I explained the role of your family when it comes to the development of your identity, syempre, the environment na meron ka is the home, diba? Sometimes your home is your comfort zone. Sometimes naman for others, it is kumbaga, it provides a very horrible experience for them. So, it depends then on the people residing inside. So what does it mean to be materialistic? So to be materialistic means to have values that put a relatively high priority on making a lot of money. So you are very materialistic if you give very high importance to material possessions, money, more than any relationship that you have, 'di ba? If you have a family, yet your focus is only on earning money, or if you have friends, yet your position in the company or in the said workplace is more important to you, then you are materialistic. So, why are some people materialistic and others are not? Because they are exposed to messages that suggest such pursuits are important. Of course, it's by the influence of the media, of the society, and also the friends. 'Di ba? It depends on the environment na meron tayo. And of course, second is we feel insecure and threatened. Which is tama naman. You become materialistic because there is a certain pattern that you copy from other people. There is a certain social status that you would like to achieve because there are people who model success and who model, uh, let's say, abundance and prosperity, considering that they have lots of material possession. So, yun lang yung dalawang reasons na hahanapin ko in your exam. So, how have media, particularly social media, influenced materialism in the world today? So, the first one is the research shows that the more the people watch television and the more materialistic their values are, that's probably because the shows and the ads send messages suggesting that happy, successful people are wealthy, diba? So, there is already the stereotype that when people are wealthy, when they are rich, when they have everything, they are happy. 'Di ba? Pero not most people naman are happy just because they have material possessions, 'di ba? It's a case-to-case basis actually. Pero mostly masaya sila because they have material possessions. And of course, material possessions are symbols of their value. Value, not values. Ibig sabihin yung halaga nila. So, being materialistic, it's about the values and the desire that you have for money and the possessions. So, extreme. While compulsive consumption naman is that when there is the feeling that makes you unable to control the desire to consume. Meaning, pag pinasok ka sa mall, hindi mo alam, 'di ba, kung ano yung bibilin mo, kung gaano ba kadami. And there's such feeling of emptiness kapag hindi mo nagawa yung bagay na yun. So, when you say compulsive consumption, it has something to do with you and the way you act inside the mall or in any stores kasi it has something to do with buying already. Pero yung materialistic, it's still a generic term. 'Di ba? Kumbaga, for materialistic, mahalaga sa akin ang pera. 'Di ba? Mahalaga sa akin ang pera kaysa sa mga kaibigan ko. Pero when you say compulsive consumption, bibili ako ng alcohol kasi pandemic ngayon. So, pag bumili ako ng alcohol, ilan kayang alcohol yung kailangan ko? Kasi baka mamaya, pag bumili ako ng isa, maubusan ka agad. So, that's compulsive consumption. You don't exactly know how much do you need, how many do you need, yet you buy more than the items that you need because there is a fear for you na maubusan ka nung gamit na yun. So, what might be the positive aspects of materialism? Ito, lagi ko tong sinasama. So, it relies on spending to drive high levels of profit. So, syempre, number one is profit. So, we linger to the concept of materialism because the more money you get to put inside the company, then ibig sabihin, mas yumayaman at mas nag improve yung company na yon. And in short, mas profitable. 'Di ba? Mas malaki yung profit na nakuha niya. Next is economic growth, 'di ba, for the nation. Next is tax revenue for the government. Next is consumption and overspending, 'di ba? So, yan yung hinahanap ko palagi sa exam. Next is, ano naman daw yung possible na symbol ng possession when you are already in the later life and beyond. So, as an aging person, hindi ba, kung dati, nung childhood natin, the role of possession is only as your comfort object or a security blanket. Ngayon, kapag daw matanda ka na, the role of the different objects that you have are already about the memories. 'Di ba? Kung kanina pinag-usapan natin yung hoarding disorder, we can say that 60 to 65% of people who have this kind of disorder belongs to later life and beyond. Kasi nga, there is a tendency for them to keep so many objects even though they no longer need it. But they keep these objects because of memories na tinatawag natin. So let's say yung mga pictures, appliances, o kung ano-ano pa yan, because there is already the essence of sentimentality. There is already experiences associated to it. So, ayan. According to William James, the man's self is the sum total of all that he can call his. So, possessions are part or the extension of the self. So, kapag sinabi mo na it's a part of the self, then it is considered as bodily self. But when you say naman, it's the extension of the self, then it is under the extracorporeal self. Okay, now for my questions number 4 and 5 under material self. The first one is you are going to give the fourth question is, can you please give me an example of your favorite bodily self representation? And for number 5, what is a very good example of the extracorporeal self that will make any other person easily identify you? So, yun yun. Number 4 is give an example of bodily self that is most important for you. And number 5 is an extracorporeal self. So, that's it for this lesson. So, let's proceed to the next lecture.